Good evening. Today is Tuesday, January 13th. The time is 7:30. I call the school committee meeting to order. I have everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. I would like to remind everyone that we are being recorded and streamed by WMCT-TV. Thank you. And we will move on to the superintendent's report.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, school committee. Good to see all of you today. We have a lengthy agenda this evening, but many important items to discuss. So we'll jump right in. The first item on my report is a finance update. And it brings me great pleasure to open our update with an introduction of our candidate for our school business manager / director of finance and operations, Mr. Mohammed Siddiqui. Mohammed will be joining Marlborough Public Schools after spending, I believe, about 13 years in Worcester Public Schools as a senior financial analyst, and has had extensive experience in managing multiple accounts in both general fund and in the grants world, and has also extensive background in budget development and budget building. So we could not be more thrilled to have Mohammed here this evening. And Mohammed, if you would like to come up to the podium and say a few words to the school committee, I'm sure they would love to hear from you as well as the community.
Mohammed, do you see a green light on that?
I do.
Okay, you're good.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mohammed Siddiqui. I've been in school finance for about 10 plus years. I would like to begin by expressing how honored and grateful I am for this opportunity. I truly appreciate the trust put in me by the school committee and the district leaders. I'm excited to join Marlborough Public Schools and be part of the community that I know values the collaboration and accountability and cares about the students. So, I'm really excited. Looking forward to meeting everyone that makes up Marlborough Public Schools. And, my approach will be to listen, learn, and collaborate, and just help the district support, with their goals. So once again, thank you so much, everyone, for having me, and looking forward to joining soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Catherine?
I just want to welcome you. We're really excited about having you, and make sure that you know that hopefully we can be a resource. The committee can be a resource for you as you're learning everything and stepping in. Please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us to be able to help your transition here.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if I could just add, Mohammed was selected through a very rigorous process with a variety of individuals from different divisions of the district, including our school committee. So thank you to Michelle and to Catherine for the time, effort, and energy. Also to Jody, to Patty, to Calliope, who's not here this evening. But there were many individuals involved in the interview process. There were multiple rounds of our interviews, and we also did a interview with an outside consultant, if you will, and a simulation activity. So to our community who might be tuning in, please know that the process was very thorough. It took an extensive amount of time. There were many interviews, and there was also a finance simulation activity that each of the finalists had gone through, and very happy that Mohammed landed at the top of that list. So
And Karen Runlet too.
and Karen Ryan,
yes.
yes.
So, sorry.
Thank you.
Just
No,
wanted
no,
to make
thank
sure.
you for that.
Thank
Karen
you.
was very instrumental in this as well.
Mohammed, once everything gets settled, we'd like to have you come over to City Hall to meet the city finance team. So there's a nice union between the two. Okay? But all in good time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Moving on, in your packet this evening, you have a copy of our updated FY26 expenditure report. Again, this is a very comprehensive document that monitors our spending, looks at our encumbrances and our balances in each of our function codes across our $82 million budget. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I know there's a lot of information there, but happy to address any questions you may have as you're working your way through that. And speaking of budget, FY27 is very well underway. We have spent a considerable amount of time with our cost center managers, our principals and directors, reviewing first materials, supplies, resources, and really looking at a multi-year trend of spending to get a deep sense of what have we actually budgeted versus what we've actually spent over the past few fiscal years. That has helped us immensely as we've thought about the projection of our resources and materials for FY27. So we've had a lot of rich conversation in that space. Additionally, we have met collectively as a team to talk about what are the staffing needs that we have in each building. As we know, our staff is our largest part of our budget. It's about 80% of our budget. So we've spent a considerable amount of time walking through our FY26 budget and making sure that we have everything aligned and clearly set up for FY27, but also thinking about what might we need moving forward as far as positions and where might there be opportunities for reallocation of existing positions, right? New positions don't always need to mean more. Sometimes it means different than what we currently have. And lastly, we have had our enrollment conversation. That is a really big discussion with the leadership team that is anchored around enrollment projections as it relates to our student class size in each one of our elementary schools, the middle school, and the high school. And so while there is still lots of conversation to happen, particularly in that space, we have had some very rich and deep dialogue already, particularly with our principals and with our senior leaders in the district to talk a bit about where do we think our enrollment is going to fall based on patterns and trends that we've seen across the district as of late, and what does that staffing pattern need to look like to best meet the needs of our students. So I know all this information will be captured in our budget book and in a formal presentation to the school committee in, I believe, the end of February, but just wanted to highlight just the amount of work that has been done to date. And we are very happy that Mohammed has a lot of experience in this space because this will be one of the very first things that he is tasked with, helping us pull together and get into a digestible format for our school committee and our community as a whole. So we are getting a much clearer picture of what FY27 expenses will look like. Equally as important, we will know soon what our governor's budget looks like as it relates to revenue, the revenue side of things for FY27 for Marlborough, we believe next Thursday. The third Thursday of in the month of January, the governor has to release her budget. And so we are anticipating getting a early look at those revenue figures, we hope by the end of next week. I do want to just underscore again, I know we've talked about this in the past, and I kind of keep beating the drum on this, but it is important to note that our student enrollment is down by just under 400 students. That really matters as it relates to revenues and funding streams as we think about how we will be working to offset expenses for FY27. So I say that just so that the school committee knows that the leadership team, the district leadership team, is very well aware of this. And have taken into account that kind of that projection, if you will, that very early projection as it relates to what our revenues may look like for next year.
Just a quick comment / question around the 27 budget that you're putting together. If you are seeing things that you all are discussing that are somewhat standalone projects or needs that are impactful, but yet smaller amounts of the budget, that we might be able to have some discussion with any of our legislators about potential earmarks within their budget. It would be great if we could start looking at certain pieces that might be operational needs. I know at one point last year I was trying to look at, and it was far too much, was the bleacher project was one thing, and that was just too much. But if there is something that's kind of like standalone that we might be able to go towards our legislators and have any kind of conversations, it would be great to have kind of like a highlight so that we can help on that discussion.
I'm really glad you mentioned that, because we are very grateful to our local legislators for the earmarks we did receive. We did receive about 200, I don't know if the school committee is aware, but about $200,000 in earmarks for special education funding, which has really been helpful as far as offsetting some of the costs. So great point, Catherine. Thank you for mentioning that.
Thank you.
And along those lines, I will be meeting with our DPW commissioner next week to go through all of our capital items that were in our multi-year capital plan, to look at what's been prioritized, what's been done, in really kind of costing out what may be some priorities as we look not only to FY27, but to future fiscal years. So that work is underway as well.
Okay.
All right. You also have in your packet a list of budget transfers from Karen Runlet, just so you can get a sense of the transfers that have been made across function codes for various expenses. So that is in your packet as well. And if we are all right, I can move on to transportation, Mr. Mayor.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Let's keep it going.
All right. As both the school committee and our community at large is aware, we had significant issues with NRT, our transportation vendor, at the start of the school year. Frankly, that lasted well into our fall season. Through an extensive amount of collaboration and work from the district side, and a replacement of some of the leadership on NRT's side at our request, in establishing new relationships, we are happy to say that the service has improved. It has gotten better. With that being said, we are still monitoring very closely the service delivery and the timely pickup and drop off of our students, both to and from school. So I just want to assure the public that although things have improved, we are still monitoring very closely our transportation services and transportation contract, and will remain very diligent on that process. That being said, the school committee may recall that we did have a discussion that upon recommendation from legal counsel, we were withholding payment from our transportation vendor until we saw significant improvement in service delivery. We are happy to say that we are at a point where we have started payment because the services have improved to the degree that they need to in order to start making those payments. So I share that so that the public knows where we stand, but also the school committee will start seeing those in our warrant. We do have our invoices up to November. So you will see the invoices up to November in our upcoming warrants. So just wanted to highlight that and to thank everybody for their hard work. And just know that we are remaining diligent in our monitoring.
And yes, I mean, I'm going to say, the moment that we see any decrease in their improvements, I'm certainly hoping that we are going to pull right on back on payment, because they need to keep their act together. It's just not acceptable. Not acceptable for our students, not acceptable for our staff. And it's disruptive to our classroom and to these kids getting the education that they all deserve. And our staff should not have to be dealing with repetitive, late buses, consistent errors. So I just hope that everyone understands we need to see continued improvement, not a pullback at all.
100%. And we'll continue to track and monitor as we have.
Thank you.
And again, if we see any issues, I will bring them back to the committee, and we'll take further action without question. Sure.
Good.
All right. Moving on to student attendance. You have our updated the month of December attendance report, student attendance report in your packet. You will notice a significant decline in our student attendance. Our elementary schools, at one point through all of the fall, we were right around the 95% marker, dipped between 91 and 93% in the month of December. Our middle school also, which was just under 95%, dipped to 91%, and our high school attendance is very low at 88% for the month of December. Mainly, you will see that our freshman class, the attendance is very, very low in the low to mid 80s. I know that it has gotten colder. Certainly understand how weather impacts transportation. Being up at 3 a.m. on the phone with the DPW commissioner and watching weather forecasts for what feels like weeks in advance sometimes of impending snow events and ice events and things. I really understand, but I cannot stress enough to our families, please send your children to school if they are not sick. We've had conversations with many students that are pushing that chronic absentee number, and frankly, the information we're hearing from them is it's cold. And I understand that. We live in New England. It's going to be cold. We have jackets, we have hats, we have scarves, we have gloves. Jody and her team, and working with the wraparound coordinators, spent a significant chunk of time ordering a variety of sizes, delivering them to schools, calling students down to make sure they had what they needed. It's hard to hear, it's too cold to come to school, but no, I don't want that coat. Take the coat and come to school, please. So we need our children at school. We can't teach to empty seats. So our parents who are tuning in, please know that if you need support in getting your child to school, they need gloves, hats, scarves, etc. Please do reach out to your child's principal or adjustment counselor, or to me. I know our parents have my email. We are happy to help in any way we can, but we need to get those attendance numbers back up. So
Can I just question? So I'm making assumptions here, but I would assume that the parents that are listening to this are probably the ones that have their children going to school because they're engaged. So what are we doing to reach out to the students' parents who may not be watching this?
So I will let Jody speak to specifics
Sure.
as overseeing the student service work, but I can tell you,
I'm sure there's other communications that we're utilizing. I would just like to know
yep.
what other methods we're doing, because again, we can preach. I think we're preaching to the wrong demographic here, but I'm just curious.
Thank you. So each of the schools do monthly regular attendance meetings, and we have our school adjustment counselors who will reach out to parents, and we have our wraparound coordinators who are also attending those meetings regularly. So they'll identify families that they're working with, work with those parents on talking about the importance of attendance. We also have posted a re-engagement coach position, which we had adjusted a little bit as far as having one that's at secondary level for Whitcomb and the high school versus one at each in more of a administrative level, so that they can monitor the attendance and put together interventions. We are working on getting an additional vehicle to be able to have staff go and meet students at their home and be able to pick them up to bring them into school.
So we're trying lots of strategies.
Oh, yep, I'm sorry. We also have Saturday attendance academies at Whitcomb School. The last one is coming up this coming Saturday, or two more. And then February and April vacation, the high school is hosting an attendance academy for each of those vacations, and they're identifying students to be able to come to those.
This piece of the work is really people work, particularly at the secondary level,
Sure.
and working directly with the parents and
Yep.
in the teens, frankly.
Yep. No, I just think having that information out there that we're doing everything we can to follow up is really important, especially why we choose Marlboro. You know, like when we sending out that message, like it's really important to showcase all the avenues that we're trying to do for every single student. So I have no doubt you're doing what you want to, but it's, again, a good way to showcase all the different methods that we are doing.
We'll make sure, I know that the principals have also been including communications about the importance of attendance in the
Sure.
weekly communications out with families. So we'll also make sure that we're incorporating in like strategies for parents who, you know, maybe their child, you know, it's difficult to get them out of bed or out,
Right.
you know, out the door in time for the bus.
Yeah, thank you.
I would also say that if there are needs around, whether it be coats, hats, gloves, things like that, we have a really great community service network in town. I mean, I know that Ms. Ryan and I are members of the Marlboro Junior Women's Club, the Lions Club. There are a lot, the Rotary. There's a lot of different groups that would be more than happy to probably support and or run programs of drives if we had something specific. So maybe that's something that if you're seeing a specific need, please say something to us so that, you know, we can even be a conduit to some of the different community groups to get something going. Because this community has been really, really good. They just need to have a focus of what's needed to get it done. I mean, so just say the word.
Thank you. That's great.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And we'll continue to update the committee on our progress in that space. And the last item on my report this evening is an update on my entry plan. So in your packet, you do have a copy of my entry plan, and you've seen it a few times. And it's really broken down into 3 phases. I will say that it was designed to be a 90-day plan. We're stretching it a bit, which is okay. It's taking a little bit longer to kind of cover all bases that I'm looking to as it relates to making sure that I am meeting with and working with and really leaning into the feedback from our variety of community partners, whether it's parents, our educators, our students, community agencies, Marlboro Economic Development Council. There's many partners that we've been working with. But I'm really proud of the progress that is being made. The first phase of my plan was focused on establishing key relationships, conducting district-wide conversations and kind of this idea of a listening tour, reviewing key documents, establishing a communication plan. All 4 of those components have been thoroughly worked on, will remain a major focus. These things are not a one and done. And I just want to make sure that our community knows that this is an ongoing process as it relates particularly to meeting with those that are involved in helping our school system be a success. I will say, I think out of all of the conversations that I have had, some of the most challenging have been with our educators, but I think they've been the best because I've heard directly from our teachers and support staff in the classrooms and really been able to lean into their feedback around what's working and what's not and what they need next. I will tell you probably the most fun conversations have been with our students. Those have been awesome. I've had an opportunity now to meet with students in every building. And again, those will be ongoing conversations, but I've really framed the conversation with them around 3 questions. If I was going to change one thing in your school, what would you ask me to change? If there was something that you did not want me to change, you can change anything, but don't touch this. What is this? And then tell me your favorite subject and why. And the conversations have been incredible. And as you can imagine, very different, right? Meeting with kindergartners at Goodnow versus, our seniors, juniors and seniors at the high school. One of the things I have asked each student to share with me is how long they have been with Marlboro Public Schools. That's a really important question because some of the kids that I've spoken with, or young adults, frankly, at the high school, started here in kindergarten. Actually, many of them did. So I was able to get a really strong perspective of what is that, K-11 or K-12, some cases preschool, 12 perspective look like from the student lens. Equally as interesting has been those conversations with our new students. So I've been able to speak with many students who started this year, and really get a sense of how warm and receptive are we to new students to the school system. That has been incredible to be able to engage in those discussions and really get a deep sense of the student experience. So that work will continue in an ongoing way. The work that we started this evening, I am super jazzed about. We started the steering committee work for our strategic plan, Portrait of a Learner focus, and I was elated to see the number of staff and parents we had sign up for this. We had over 15 participants, 9 of which were parents. So that may not sound like a huge number, but it's a big commitment. The idea of the steering committee is that these individuals are part of this process all the way through. We have a member in our audience, a future parent who was part of our steering committee, which was great. So I was very pleased to see the turnout and to hear the engagement of that group. This is a critically important piece of this entry work. These schools belong to the community. And so it's really important that our schools are built and the strategic plan and Portrait of a Learner are built and developed by the community. And so that was something that I think was really at the forefront of this evening's conversation. And the energy in that space was awesome. We had an opportunity to start kind of like the geeky quantitative, our numbers and MCAS stuff, right? Kind of like one group was really focused on that, which is critically important. And another group was focused on the qualitative side of the feedback in our data. We had over 300 individuals participate in our survey. So, right, we have a lot more individuals in our community, but at least it's a starting point. We had about 343 individuals contribute to feedback around where they want to see the school system go. While we obviously want a much larger number, that's not a bad start. It gives us a foundational piece on which to start building the work. So very excited. And this work will continue through the rest of the winter and spring. And we will bring back kind of the findings and outcomes to the school committee as we move along through that. That really speaks to phase 2, which is this idea around of my entry plan, which is this idea around analysis, alignment, and strategy. All of that is very well underway. And I think you're going to see a significant piece of this emerge in our FY27 budget process. I know we had some early conversation in the late fall around if we want to see what an organization prioritizes, look at their budget, right? Look at how we spend our resources. I know from my lens, it is critically important, and I know the school committee and our leadership team feel the same way, to provide as much direct support to our educators, our students, and families. And so I think you're going to see some budget priorities surface in that process that will be running parallel to this Portrait of a Learner strategic plan, right? That fiscal plan needs to match the strategic and instructional plan. So very excited about the work that is underway there. That's really captured in that second and third phase of of my entry plan. So lots more to come on this front, but the collaboration is strong. I have never been so sure about the work that we are doing because of the community that we are in. We have a very strong community that prioritizes its schools and its children, and that is evident in every conversation and in every space, from the mayor's office to our school committee, to our community partners, to our families, to our educators. And so it really is, it's incredible to see it come together. One of the, I will share just this quick anecdote, and then I'll wrap up my report. In my conversation with the Good Now students, one of the kids said, "What do you actually do?" Right, which is a fair question. So I asked the group, I'm like, "Have you all seen the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation movie, and they were all kind of giggling. A lot of them like were nodding heads. Yeah, like they knew what I was. Especially the older kids knew what I was talking about. I said, "Do you know the scene where the dad gives his kid that knot of Christmas lights and says, 'Oh, we got a little knot here that needs to be untangled,'" and they were cracking up. I'm like, I have to kind of untangle that knot. That's sort of like my job, one of the main core functions of my work. And I can't do that without the feedback of the community. So a big thank you to everybody who has contributed to this and who will contribute to our strategic plan and portrait of a learner and my overall entry moving forward. So
Thank you.
that concludes my report, unless there are questions.
Anything else? Good? Okay. Let's move on to the Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Tonight, I'm going to provide the school committee an update on the graduation requirements council's recommendations. And I kind of want to frame this as what might be coming on the horizon. There's been a lot of dialogue around these recommendations statewide, and obviously a lot of changes have come now that MCAS is no longer a determining factor of graduation in attaining a diploma. So the CD update, as well as the graduation requirements, we are preparing for the potential implementation of draft recommendations from the Graduation Requirements Council, convened by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. My report this evening will highlight several of the council's initial recommendations to support our thinking about possible next steps. To be clear, none of these recommendations are finalized at this time. They remain in draft form, and we really do want to just kind of provide a forecast, open up a dialogue, and make sure that we are communicating openly about what could potentially happen and how to prepare for any of these recommendations that might become finalized in the future. As you know, recent changes to district policy and DESE guidance require us to reconsider and redefine Marlborough High School's graduation requirements and students' pathways toward reaching a diploma. Under the council's draft recommendation, graduation requirements are organized into several key components. The program of study component outlines required coursework. As part of completing 96 course credits at Marlborough High School, students must successfully complete at least 2 years of ELA or the equivalent, Algebra 1 and Geometry or their equivalent, U.S. History course or the equivalent, and at least 1 year of lab-based science or the equivalent. That's the CD requirement sophomore year. There's additional coursework that is part of the overall graduation requirement. So the next component, second from the program of study, is the showing mastery piece. So this focuses on how students demonstrate competency. Draft recommendations include the use of end-of-course assessments, as well as capstone or portfolio projects. The state is exploring the development of course-specific assessments that could be implemented statewide. Additional guidance is expected as this work continues. And I will tell you that from a recent webinar and open dialogue session that we've had with the Superintendents Association, there's a lot of conversation around just this subject and making sure that that unit is contributing with input to make sure we get it right. I will say that the council itself is made up of a representation of a lot of constituents. There's administrators, there's state officials, there are student parent voices. So a lot of people are trying to get this as right as possible. So we're just really right now looking at the recommendations and digesting them. Finally, the career and college readiness component includes requirements such as completion of MyCap, which we've talked about recently, and a FAFSA participation, as well as MASFA. A required financial literacy course, we've talked a little bit about that. I don't know that it actually has to be a course. It might be coursework that comes through a math course itself or a unit of a separate math course, but we can further and more clearly define that as we work through the recommendations. And then finally, the expansion of existing seals of distinction, including the seal of biliteracy, which we have the honor and privilege of noting and commending many students in our district who have earned that seal of biliteracy. And then finally, the recommendations from the DESE Graduation Requirements Council are intended to provide statewide guidance and consistency for districts across the Commonwealth. The most recent information from the council has been included in your packet this evening, so it's all outlined relatively clearly in terms of those components that I mentioned and the criteria within each. Along with a brief summary of the proposed graduation components and recommendations. So tonight, we kind of just want to give you a little preview of what the recommendations entail. I hope you got an opportunity to look through those recommendations from the council's packet. And I will tell you that Superintendent DeFalco, Assistant Superintendent O'Brien, and I have already started to wrap our heads around, as well as Principal Sierra-Pina, what this means and what to prepare for.
And this will continue to evolve, correct? It's nothing, as you mentioned, and nothing set in stone. So I don't want to give too much attention to it if it's not going to be concrete. So
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'll entertain a question if you guys have it. But
I'll just make a comment that the end of course is not going to happen without a lot of fighting.
Yep.
There's a lot of conversation going on about it because it basically is going against what the people in Massachusetts voted for when they voted not to have MCAS be a graduation requirement. They are saying this document that you gave was actually developed by DESE. That council that has been working on it was basically tasked to come up with different ideas, but were told from the start by the commissioner that it was his decision. And it was not going to be something that specifically was going to come out of that council. So
so we shall
we're
see.
working on it.
Yeah,
We shall see. Yeah, it's a work in progress for sure.
Catherine.
I was going to say, we've had our own discussions, if you will, in our policy subcommittee. And we did with the high school principal, Sierra-Pina. Specifically, we did have some conversation around, finals or end of course assessments. Just because we have gotten some feedback just here on more of a local level with some of our own local alumni that have moved forward into college, whether it be a 2-year or 4-year, saying that they are feeling like we are in a situation where we need to make sure that we're providing opportunities for some course finals to help them be better prepared. So I think, at least, I know, this is like from DESE, but we've been talking, at least on our level, like what's a way that we can all work together to find, a happy way of supporting our students and our staff on a level of success and competency. And so I looked at some of their information and I kind of went, okay, well, we'll see what happens. But we've been having some of our conversations here about how we're going to meet the needs of our students. So we'll see.
Yes. That's the theme. We shall see.
Yeah.
Anything else? No? You're good? Thank you. Okay, moving on. The acceptance of minutes. Minutes of the December 9th, 2025 school committee meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes of December 9th, 2025.
Motion up on the table and seconded. Questions, comments, concerns regarding the minutes from December 9th? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Minutes of the January 5th, 2026 school committee meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes of January 5th, 2026.
Motion's on the table and seconded. Questions, comments, or concerns? It was a quick one. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on. Public comment. Is there any public comments? Public comments. Any public comment? Seeing none. Public comment for the third and final time. Seeing none. We are closing public comment and moving on. Thank you. Action items and reports. Acceptance of donations. We have quite a few, so here we go. We ready?
Ready?
Okay. Boston Scientific, gift giving with employee match for $940.45.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve is on the table in second. Questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Approved. Moving on. I don't think there'll be any questions, comments, or concerns, so we're just going to we're going to bypass that. Deal? Okay. Yeah. All righty. Let's see if I can remember because we'll be in a groove. Marlboro Rotary Club to assist families purchases essential items for $2,000.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve is on the table and seconded. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Lalo's Mexican Restaurant donation to assist families in groceries for $400.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve is on the table and seconded. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. O'Connor Portraiture Goodnow, check for student photo session, $2,135.81.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve and seconded. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. O'Connor Studios Whitcomb, check for student photo sessions, $1,308.28.
Motion to approve.
Approved and seconded. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. O'Connor Studios, check for student photo sessions for $1,672.10.
Motion to approve.
Approved and seconded. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. O'Connor Studio for Richer, check for student photo sessions, $1,331.04.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve and seconded. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Paul King and NRT Bus sneaker donation to Richer School for $600 to $750. I'm assuming that is just sneakers, so it's not cash, but for goods.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve
Sorry.
and seconded. All in favor? Motion carries. This page, Hannaford Supermarkets helps program for support Kane student activities for $336.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved and seconded. All in favor? Motion carries. And lastly, Hannaford Supermarket helps support Wickham student activities for $348.
Motion to approve.
To approve and seconded. All in favor? Motion carries. All righty.
Mr. Chair, did we get I think Tammy sent us a corrected page 2. It was in with Mr. Siddiqui's resume in a separate email. I just want to make sure that,
I have it here. It was 336 for the Hannaford Supermarket Health Program for Kane, and then the 348 for the Wickham for Hannaford.
that was the corrected page?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, okay.
It was
Okay.
page 2.
Yep.
So we're good. Yes.
Yep, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you all that donated. It's much appreciated. We appreciate the support throughout the community, so thank you. Okay, moving on to the superintendent contract. We reviewed this during executive session. So the contract will be for 4 years to bring on the interim superintendent to now a superintendent role. We had some great discussion, and so now is the time to make it official.
Move to approve.
Okay, that's what I was waiting for. And seconded. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns? No concerns?
No concerns, just a comment that, I can say easily on behalf of the committee, and I'm sure on behalf of the district, we're thrilled to have you here. Ups and downs, that's part of the process. It's all about working together to make things happen for the betterment for the future. And thank you. We're really looking forward to it.
Now's your chance to say nice things now.
5 years to say nice things.
Yes. I am very honored. And,
Yes.
And we're very excited. You inspire me to be a better mayor with the communication that you have. I know that you have the best interest in every single student, and I'm honored and thrilled to work with you for the next 2 years. So keep up the great work. So having said that, motion's on the table and seconded. We'll do a roll call just to make it official.
Yes.
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 Excellent. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the district. Next up is the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services and an Equity Contract.
Move to approve.
Move to approve and seconded. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the contracts? Seeing none, do another roll call to make it official.
Yes.
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 All right. Thank you much. Motion carries. And School Business Director of Finance and Operations Contract. We heard from Mohammed earlier today. And so let's kick it off to make it official, shall we?
Move to approve.
Move to approve and seconded. So another roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Congratulations, sir. Welcome to the
Welcome.
district.
Welcome to Marlboro.
Okay, well, that was fun. Alrighty. It's really great to have a strong leadership team. So thank you all for being here and being part of the district and making our schools a better place to be for each and every student. Moving on, reports of school committee subcommittees. Yes, Ms. Catherine.
For policy, we do have a meeting this Friday. Can't wait.
Do we have
We'll
a
be talking about
time?
some of the, some of the updates that we need to be making for the CTE, as well as just around graduation requirements and such. So meetings posted,
What time?
8:30 in the morning. Can't wait. So
Where?
it will be at the superintendent's conference room.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
thank you.
Anything else? Reports from school committee subcommittees? Anything? Good. Okay. Moving on, members forum. Yes.
I have reviewed the warrant and I'll be signing that on our behalf.
Okay. Mr. O'Toole.
Hello. Just glad to say we started the tutoring program slowly, thanks to everyone, Principal Patel and Dr. Skaza, and yeah, it was great. So we started the past couple weeks. I go to Good Now. We have a bunch of kids. How many kids do we have going to? Yeah. Yeah. So and then plus 11 or 12
Oh, thank you.
going
We
to.
can't hear them at home, so 11
Yeah.
12 are jars. So thank you.
Plus 5 of us going to Good Now. At least at Good Now, we each get 3 kids each that we're going to tutor. It'll be fun. So we get to play a bunch of, math-based games or reading or, integrating fun plus a little bit of learning.
So just,
I think it'll be
those
really
two
great.
elementary schools, or
So far,
so far? Okay. Okay.
we can see how we can expand it
I
later.
just want to make sure the public's aware. So
Yeah, so it's a great group. And I'm glad we had a bunch of kids sign up.
excellent.
So yeah.
That's great. Okay. All right.
So is it after school?
Yeah, Thursdays for Good Now. I don't know how it's working. Could be Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Do you want to step up to the microphone? Thank you, Mrs. Patel.
Sorry. So the kids come after they're dismissed at the high school. They're there from around 2:40 to 3:25. We have like a sign-in sheet, so we'll send them to classrooms. So they're working with kindergartners, first graders, second graders.
Is there a specific day? I think was
So at Jarrick, actually, we have students coming Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Okay. Okay.
So it's maybe a little less like structured than Good Now, but where so many kids, we just wanted them
Yeah, that's great.
in as many places as possible.
Okay.
So,
Great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Atul.
Anything else for members forum?
Just Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes.
On to 2026.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it.
Move
What
to
else you got?
adjourn.
Move to adjourn. It's on the table in second. All in favor of adjourning? And that is a yes. We're adjourned at 8:19. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.